Good morning. Thank you for your patience. I can't see me, Jerry. Can you guys see me? Oh, you can. Oh, great. You can see me. I can't see you. Or I can't see myself. That's fine. Well, good morning. Thanks for your patience. My computer decided on its own accord to freeze, and then it decided to do updates for the last 15 minutes, which actually weren't successful. So they then had to undo the updates, and now we're up and running. So I'm not sure if you can see all of these fine folks that are with me. I wanted to, some of these faces are somewhat familiar, some of them are very new. They'll be on camera just at the beginning, and then the camera will come to me so you guys can, ignore it and act natural. So today's agenda, I wanted to introduce to you these new staff members. We're going to do a step-by-step guide how to enter data into the metadata dictionary. And look at the new resource by COSIN. I'm not really going to talk very much about the Educational Application Vetting Consortium, just a bit on that, and then share with you some proposed dates for the inaugural Data Privacy Conference. So here we have Phil. Phil's been on a webinar before, so you should be somewhat familiar with him. He is a temporary employee here that has really exceeded expectations. He's been working with the metadata dictionary. You've rocked it. You've rocked it, Phil. So Phil's been fantastic to work with. A lucky, I can't see any questions or anything coming through, Jerry, but a lucky LEA is going to have Phil for a day. Phil has been working with us with our metadata dictionary since March, and he'll be with us a little bit into July. We're going to kind of play it by ear till this project is done, but a lucky LEA winner will get Phil for a day, and Phil will come to your LEA and he will help assist you enter data. There's a few catches. Number one, it has to be within about a 45-minute drive from Salt Lake City. So I'm so sorry, we're discriminating. Phil cannot go that far. The second thing is you need to provide evidence that you're ready for him. So anything you have, an email, begging, pleading might work. Bribes, no bribes. So you will get Phil for a day. Lunch, maybe? Oh, no lunch. So that is Phil. He will be able to come out towards the end of June. We can work on that. So Phil for a day. Then we have here Greg Cox. You've met him before. He's the data privacy trainer. We're going to get more from him later on. His first big task is working on training all of USBE staff and getting us in line, and then providing resources for you all. He's been attending a few trainings with me, so he's watched me do it. I've given him the PowerPoint slides, and there's only one way to go from there, is he's improving upon those, and so I'm excited to have him. We have here Andre. Andre, how do you say your last name? Maluchek. Oh, that's not too bad. Andre's first day was Monday. Yep. And Andre will be is an IT analyst. He will be a really big part of taking over the metadata dictionary development, making it more streamlined. And then another one of his responsibilities is going to be helping us develop an educational application vetting page that is similar to the one developed by Denver Public Schools. And so he just got started. It's Monday, so we're going to give him some time, but we're happy to have him. So, Andre. And then we have maybe a familiar face to some of you. I should have had you guys talk a little. You want to talk about it? No. Oh. David Soleil. David Soleil is not official yet. Oh, I don't have your master's degrees here. That's right. David Soleil is has accepted the position of data privacy auditor. As many of you know, David Soleil is also an essential part of accountability, which we know a little bit about. And so he will have shared responsibilities over the next few months. So he'll be working both on accountability and also looking at being the data privacy auditor. I've worked with him with assessment and accountability before, so if you haven't met him, you're wonderful. You're wonderful to work with, and so. I'm glad to hear that. Oh, good. So that's the team. I'm so happy to have a team with me, and I've been doing this alone since November, so not too long, but we'll be able to make much more progress as a group. So, there we are. Getting to the second agenda item, we're going to talk about the metadata dictionary a little more. And if you guys want to sneak away, you can. You just have to go underneath the camera as you go. It's up to you. Unless you want to, you can watch this online like all the regular folks. Oh yeah, Phil, stick around, please. And you guys can feel free to stay. So the metadata dictionary, you've seen this slide before, and some of these will be a bit familiar to you. We had to make a number of judgments calls to implement this statute and be as transparent as possible because that is the purpose behind the metadata dictionary. First of all, we decided to follow the legislation. What is it? The precise language in there where it says that we need to define and disclose all data collected, used, and shared. So the metadata dictionary is essentially explaining which recipients and what data elements are given to certain recipients. So anything shared, if you collect the data that does not go here, you will need to have a data disclosure statement describing all the data you collect. But as far as the metadata dictionary, this is all the data that go out. So let me describe how to do this. You've seen this before. These are the required elements for the metadata dictionary. We call this a data recipient. We'll get into that later, but if you have all of these data elements, you're ready to enter information into the metadata dictionary. So here we go. Step one. Because this is within the data gateway, your LEA admin will need to provide access to entering data by making one of you the data manager. We have an acronym, we're calling them DMs now, because we have ADs, assessment directors, data manager, DMs. It's not quite in my vernacular yet, but we'll get there. So who is the LEA student data manager? If that's probably you. I cannot give you access. This is a local decision. Your LEA admin will need to give you access. The next thing you do. Now this is what I see when I log on, and Phil and I have been working within this system. This is what we see. We see all of these, the LEAs, and also we see one for us in alphabetical order. I think you just see yours. You won't be able to access anyone else's. So select your LEA, and then we used Alpine as an example. And here we are. You'll just click on Add Data Recipient, and you'll come to this fun page. And I'm going to take you through this pretty slowly. Here we have a name, and that is the name of the data recipient. I've gotten a few questions saying, well, we have researchers I typically put the university that's receiving the data on behalf of the researcher, because researchers often have to go through an IRB process. So this is not the name of an individual necessarily. It could be the name of an organization. This is oftentimes the name of a vendor. So we have AIR. I've also gotten another question saying, do we need to document data that are shared with us, USBE? And no, these are external data recipients. And so anyone internal like USBE or schools, that does not need to be shared. These are external recipients. And so the name of the vendor. And then we have subtitle. If you have only one contract or agreement with a particular vendor, you would just put NA for the subtitle. But you need to put NA for the subtitle. You need to put something that's a required field right now. If you have multiple contracts with the same vendor, so you share different data for this purpose rather than another purpose, then you'll need to name that. And so I've used, for example, Imagine Learning. I don't think they have a secondary education level, but if they did, you could put Imagine Learning as the name of the vendor, and a subtitle can be elementary, and then the next one could be, another one would be secondary. So these would be treated as separate entries. Now, once Alpine School District, and I don't see anyone asking questions, so I'm sorry if I'm just ignoring you. But let's say they go in. I need to see them. Can we hold on one second? I want to answer your questions and not just get through this. Can you see the questions, David, on your? You're not doing it. Okay, we'll find it. Could we log on with another computer and have it here? Yeah. Okay, hold on. I just think they understand it perfectly, and I don't need to
Whitney,
answer anything. Yes.
So we have a question. Here at Juab School District, and we're logged into his, and we can't click to generate Juab.
What do I do?
How do we get to that? Start entering the.
Okay. How do you get to the data entry screen?
Yes.
Well, it's not up for you to use it quite yet.
Oh, okay.
Are you trying to access it right now?
Yeah, we were going to try to do one.
Okay. I'm sorry, I should have mentioned that. We're working on one last bug, and it's an important one because the save function isn't working like it should. But we've been talking to vendors. We're hoping this is ready to go by Monday. So if you're trying to access it now, you will not be able to. So Jerry's getting me a computer so I can see the questions. It should technically work soon. We just got an email saying that the bug's been fixed, so theoretically it should work now, but we haven't pushed it out live yet, so we're going to have to test it. We're going to get it out. The second it is functional, you will all get an email if you're on my distribution list. Is Jerry coming with the? Yes, please. Well, yeah, I don't want to get too far ahead of this. I guess one thing I can say while we're waiting so I can see your questions is that to be compliant, this needs to be done by July 1st of this year, I guess June 30th, July 1st. I've gotten a few emails saying, hey, we're not going to meet this deadline. And because, well, number one, this tool isn't quite ready for us yet. And so it may take some time. Is what are the consequences to not getting this in on time? And none of us in this room are going to come and knock down your door, but we're hoping by October 1st that all of you have entered in the data, that it is up and running, that it is on the website. That is the same date that you will need to supply us with a link or the document for the data governance plan and also the IT security plan. And so we understand it may take some time, but so we're going to start providing assistance on getting this done on October 1st. So we know it's going to take you some time. It's taken us some time to get everything squared away. Is he? Okay. Should I carry on, Jerry, or should I wait? I feel like I should just. What's that? Yeah, I don't. Okay.
They're gonna have to retype their questions because when I logged on, it doesn't have questions in there.
Okay, I can now see a screen where you can type in questions. Jerry informed me that I don't know what he did, but we're no longer able to see the questions you have already typed. So go ahead and type them again, and I'll answer them right now. Oh, it says yes, Carrie. Hey, let's see. This is from Paul Lewis. Who's the LEA admin that we need to talk to in order to get the rights? The superintendent? It's probably not your superintendent. I would.
In Data Gateway?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in Data Gateway.
Oh, here. You need to do this.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. So within Data Gateway, there is various roles and permissions set up, and the one who holds all the keys within your LEA is the LEA admin. And very often it is not going to be your superintendent. It is most likely the person who oversees UTREX within your LEA. The easiest way to figure that out would honestly probably be to contact the state. You could contact me, you could contact Aaron Bruff, and they could look up who the specific LEA admin is.
I don't have.
No. Yeah. I would think that might be going forward a useful thing for someone to be able to look up and see who the LEA admin is. But we will also get in touch, I would think, with the LEA admins. This is a new role we are creating. We're calling it the data manager role. And so they need to be aware of who you are so they can get you set up as well.
Thanks, David. Okay, so one question down. It says, if we are a new school starting this fall, how do we get a Cactus ID?
They need to contact their.
I know.
Contact Sarah Wald.
You need to contact Sarah Wald. Here, hold on that one. That one's kind of unrelated.
Can I get a little more clarification on that? So Cactus IDs are for teachers, So who is, or are you talking more like having your school entered into the Cactus system?
Yeah, probably.
So how do we get a Cactus ID?
System. When you try to create an educator account, it asks you for your Cactus ID, your LEA, your name, etc. So,
oh, okay. So you okay, because that would be if you're creating your account as a teacher. And if you do that, if you haven't already registered in Data Gateway and you go to the top where it says register, that is actually only for teachers to be able to get in, and it would only give you teacher level permission. So that is not the way you actually want to do that, because then you won't have all the data manager permissions that will actually allow you to access the metadata dictionary. So again, you need to have your account created by your LEA user, admin, LEA admin, that's the name of the term, because then they can make sure that you're set up with all of the correct permissions. If you're a brand new school starting July 1, 2017, I'm not sure at what point we roll over and start including those schools in the Data Gateway system. Again, I'm looking to our IT representative who started Monday and who totally knows what I'm talking about. Let me see if I can find someone in IT to answer that question. But that is the normal process by which it would be handled. Is there will be an LEA admin, and that individual sets up all of the different permissions for everyone else in the LEA. You would not do the self-register because that's only for teachers.
Okay, thanks, David. Okay, and I see a question about that we already answered, but that we're very aware that some of you are wearing multiple hats, that this is not your only position, and please feel free to reach out and ask us questions. We're happy to walk you through it step by step. This is overwhelming to do, along with everything else, especially for those charter schools that have you definitely wear many different hats. So here we already talked about entering the data recipient and then the subtitle. Both are required. And then here we are just giving some more examples. Data recipients, an agency, vendor, organization. It can be an individual, but we're tending to not put individuals in the metadata dictionary. You really shouldn't be sharing personally identifiable student information with individuals. We'll talk about that a little later. So an outside vendor, it can be an external researcher, but the laws have changed on that, so we'll talk about that. Then again, the subtitle, you can see the NA there for a really cool vendor example. And then AIR, there are two different purposes. So if you have multiple agreements, those should come up. The next step is to enter in all of this additional information. You do not have to write in a description. I suggest that you do, just to make it more apparent the reason for sharing. We have a federal or state justification. You can select one or more. You must select one or more. This is the purpose behind the data sharing. So oftentimes, let's see. Oh, they're a little off. I see. Well, we have description here, and then a federal or state justification, and then we have a justification name. And what that would be is Utah code or a grant information or a federal requirement. It also might be a local school board decision, and you may have board rules on that you can include. We added a section for a URL to be placed in there that you can use. This is not a required field, but we thought it might be helpful because this is public facing, that your public's going to come in and say, well, why are you sharing all of these data elements with this vendor? We might want to provide them a resource of what a certain grant does. And so that's why we have that. And then we have notes there that you can use or not use. You can describe that something like these data elements are shared only with students that have an IEP, for example, that it's more limited, not that you're sharing first name, last name of students, of all students. So that's a open field that is not required. Yes, the PowerPoint presentation will be shared on our website as long as this webinar. Typically, Jerry gets these up the same week. And we wanted to record this so that if folks have questions about it, we can point them in this direction. So you'll see here the next section, FERPA exception. And on this PowerPoint, there is a link that will give you much more detail about this. And if you see a question, you see the question marks here right next to auto evaluation, studies, and all of these. If you click on these question marks, they will expand, and there will be a detailed explanation of what these exceptions are. This is kind of what I consider to be the most important part of understanding FERPA. And because essentially what FERPA says is you cannot share personally identifiable information, period. And then it says, well, okay, there are some exceptions to this. And in 2011, they updated these exceptions and they tried to be a little more clear. They are still not crystal clear, but let me kind of generally go over those. I think we'll go over those. So here's the description, some examples that you can use. What's going on? Why is there an agreement? There's the justification, some examples. You've seen these slides before, that's why I'm going through them quickly. There's some tips for justification. And then here we are to the FERPA exception. So these exceptions, I love this handout by PTAC that clearly outlines these. One of these exceptions is directory information. If you recall, each LEA is given the latitude to define what directory information is for their LEA, and this could include first name, last name, email, grade, photograph. It can be, we have an example of directory information on our website. And so if it is directory information, you're only using that information, this is the exception that you would use. I think that a lot of the educational applications that teachers use and that districts use would fall under this category. Of course, if you remember with directory information, all of the data that you need to disclose what directory information means to you, and you need to provide an option for parents to opt out of including their student in directory information. I remember as a teacher getting forms sent back saying you cannot publish any photographs of this student, but typically parents are okay with that. So you need to just disclose to that, and we have a great example online. We also, I would say the majority of the data recipients will fall under number 2, and that is school official exception. What this means is a school official will conduct a service that would normally be conducted by the LEA. For example, at the state here, we could have a test administration system, but instead we hire that out to AIR. And so they are doing work on our behalf. With this exception, you do need to have a data sharing agreement or contract in place, which we do. So many of your services will be done with the school official exception. Number 3 here is allowed by FERPA, but is not allowed any longer with the Student Data Protection Act. FERPA allows for us to share personally identifiable information for the purposes of conducting studies to improve education. The Student Data Protection Act explicitly states that student personally identifiable information cannot be shared for the sole purpose of conducting research. This means that any data recipient that has this box checked, that's going to be a red flag to us, because you can share de-identified data just with researchers, but you cannot share personally identifiable information with researchers. And a number of researchers aren't very happy with this change, but then they can run for office and change state law if they would like any changes. But that is just the case that we're working with. So. And then the next exception is evaluation or audit. Oftentimes you are participating in grants, and the grants are funded by the state or federal government, and there is an evaluation or audit purpose in there that you need to share data in order for them to conduct that evaluation or audit of the program. And a lot of the data sharing, data recipients may fall under this as well. We're interested to see what it looks like. We know what it looks like at the state level, but not at the local level. So those are the exceptions. One of them must be checked. And then we get to the data elements. The data elements are just for student data. We are not, this doesn't include any kind of staff data sharing that you may do. And the data elements come from CEDS, which is, I can't remember what it stands for. It's a common educational data system. I think Dave is looking it up. Let's see. Yeah. So we have a question. When a researcher asks for, let's see, student information, are we allowed to de-identify the data? The elements themselves are PII. However, individually will not identify a particular student. Will I elaborate? Yes. You can de-identify and give student level data. You need to be careful with those low N sizes. But yes, I think one, if you would like to look at our data governance plan, which is on our website, that outlines what we do, what our process is for sharing data. But yeah, you can do that, Paul. Okay, so the data elements, you will just add them if the good thing about this system is when Paul Lewis and his folks and Daniel in Alpine get this done for everyone first, we will, I guess how we classify this. Hold on. When they get everything entered in, when you enter in the data recipient that you may have in common with Alpine, all of the data elements that Alpine selected will pop up here, and you will just click on them and then say that if they are required or not and add those. You definitely need to save changes. I guess my question is, how do we classify this? That's the de-identified data. The data elements may be personally identifiable, but once you de-identify the student, they're no longer identifiable. I don't know if I'm answering that question right, Paul. Okay, so we have this, and these will come, I believe, in alphabetical order both with the name once you type one in, the subtitle, description, and all of the data elements. So here we are, some ideas with data elements. Any other questions about the metadata dictionary for now? Like I said, we're working, theoretically, the last bug's been worked out. I wouldn't count on that. We need to test it again and again, and we're hoping that you will have access by Monday. In the meantime, if you have questions about who your LEA admin is, you can email Aaron Bruff or David Soleil. I'll get access to that so I can help too. But any other questions on the metadata dictionary? Nope. Okay, well, I'll keep watching. I wanted to let you know that the data governance group will be meeting this Tuesday, and we'll be discussing the Educational Application Vetting Consortium. This will be a great opportunity for all of you, if you're interested, to come together to help vet educational apps. We'll be working with Andre here to develop that tool, and we're thinking of hosting it on a UEN site, and because we believe that teachers go to that site fairly often. So, but there's more to come on that. I believe we'll get a group together this fall to vet some of these applications. And we're very, very excited about this conference that we've decided to put together. It's the Inaugural Data Privacy Conference. These are some suggested dates. November 1st, I believe that is a Wednesday. Is that a Wednesday? November 1st and November 2nd, and yeah, Wednesday and Thursday. We'll be in Salt Lake City for that Wednesday, and we're all going to caravan down to southern Utah on November 2nd. We're not quite sure where that's going to be, but if you know of a location, we have a support staff that we share with data and statistics named Melissa Holt. Oh, you're welcome for coming. Yeah, we're happy to go to southern Utah, so you guys don't have to make that long drive. And I was, so we're looking for locations, but Melissa Holt is just beginning that process. But if you know of a great location in southern Utah, let us know. Our presenters are also going to caravan with us from Salt Lake to southern Utah. So I let them know that, it's a 3.5 hour drive, and they will have to drive after they have presented all day. And they said yes. And I've told them about your beautiful Zion National Park there. We'll be doing a team building Angels Landing hike, right? I don't think we're allowed to do that. Yeah, we'll be going. I'm excited to go to southern Utah in November. Anyway, our keynote speaker for that is Amelia Vance. Amelia, if you Google, maybe I'll send you out this link, but Amelia Vance, and she used to work for NASB. If you look at NASB's site, they have a ton of information on data privacy, and it's all because of her. So Amelia Vance has since decided, she now works for the Future Privacy Forum, and she's going to come out and be the keynote at both November 1st and November 2nd. She's fantastic. And then many of you, if you were around in December, the Privacy Technical Assistance Center came out, and Baron Rodriguez is the chief there, the leader, and he will be coming, and he will also bring another PTAC staff. I don't think it's going to be Ross Lemke. It'll be another staff member. And then what we also want for this conference is we want local presentations. This means we will be sending out a request for proposals, because it's lovely hearing from these folks that are coming out from DC and that know a lot about this, but we also want those that are on the ground, those that are listening now, that want to show off something that their district, their LEA is doing really well. I'm thinking of maybe Jordan School District presenting on educational applications, and maybe Washington County School District, them talking about their lovely IT security plan with their safety measures in there. Also, I think Jordan School District has a record retention schedule. So I hear about the great things you're doing out there. We want you to show off and help others. And so we will have a request for proposals going out. This will be a long day session, and we hope it will be very useful. The audience for this conference is LEA administrators. We're not quite ready to present this to teachers. So all LEA administrators are welcome to come. Anything else? Let's see. That might be, oh, that's right. I wanted to mention this lovely resource from COSN. What does COSN mean? I know what it means, but this is a little test for you out there. I sent this in the email with a link. You need to kind of type in your information to get a copy of it. I'm not sure if I'm able to post it to the website. I want to get their permission first. But this is a great toolkit. It's 44 pages. It's not too long, not too short. It's just right. It's very, very helpful. So this is the latest version. Oh, this is a bad slide. Upcoming trainings. I will be in Texas, in Austin. I was asked in October to be on a panel for data privacy. I'll be talking about Utah's privacy laws along with a few other states. Utah is definitely one of the most restrictive on data privacy. And then we'll be in rural schools. It looks like July 11th to the 13th. And sorry about that August date there. I believe we'll announce that next time. But in August 16th, we will be at a charter school. What is the charter school's name? C.S. Lewis. Oh, C.S. Lewis Academy. And the reason I'm announcing it is I asked C.S. Lewis if I would be able to open it up to other folks in that area. And so you're welcome to come. It's in Santa Quin. And so if you're there, I think it's August 16th from 10 to 12. You're welcome to come to that training. The training will be geared mostly towards teachers, and it'll also speak to LEA administrators too. So if you would like us to come out and present, this summer is not the best time because this team has just come together. But in the fall, I would say contact us now, and we're happy to come out and meet with you. I think that is the last slide. So are there any other questions you want to ask? Metadata dictionary, the conference? Nope. That's a quiet group today.
Whitney, did you get our 2 typed questions that we sent from Joab?
I guess. Who is this speaking?
This is Jason Strait and Tony Sperry. We asked about form for third-party vendors. Is there a model document for that?
Oh, Is there a model document for third-party vendors? Let me check. I didn't get your question. If you typed in the question before Jerry brought me the computer, it was lost.
It was after.
Lost. Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Well, it's sent to Jerry, that's the only thing.
Sorry, I can't see that, but I can answer that.
Okay. Yeah, we're just wondering if you have a model, because we have several districts that are putting policy into effect, and it requires a third-party vendor contract, and we're wondering
Sure.
if one of those had been developed.
I do have one that I use. I'm just checking to see if I've posted it online. Okay. No, I haven't posted it online. It is yeah, I can post a few of those online. And we finished a data sharing agreement for conducting external research. We also have an updated interagency agreement that we're using, and I have just a few weeks ago finished a master sharing agreement that we've updated, including our state law changes. So a question, how can we learn about upcoming trainings? If you are on the distribution list, which I suspect you are, I'll let you know when those trainings are. Also with these webinars, we're also great guns for hire. We can come out and come to your district or school and meet with folks. But give us a little bit of time. We'll probably want to do that more this fall. What was your other question, Jason?
Our main one was the third-party contract, if you could get that posted. There's several districts in the Q's region that are passing their data governance policy this month, and they have been looking for something that they can use for that.
Okay.
And the other one was just the app consortium. We have, and we've already talked, but we have several in the Q's region that would like to participate in that and help out.
Well, that's great, and we can use a lot of help with that. Give us a little bit of time to do that, to put that together. I'll be contacting the folks that did that in Denver, and we're going to look at their process because it seems similar to what we would want to do, but we want to modify it to make it our own, and then we may be flying them out to help conduct multiple sessions for consortiums to get together. And we want to give teachers as much guidance as possible of what is appropriate to use and what isn't, and expecting them to read through the terms of service every time is really taxing. So I appreciate everyone's willingness to be in that group, and yeah, I think let's see. Yes, I'll provide an example of a third. Oh, let's see. Could you provide an example of a third party? A third party is just an external organization or person that you contract with to do work. For example, AIR, we contract with them. They are a third party. They're not internal. It kind of means like it's external. So, but we can, and a consortium is just a group of folks. It could be a task force, or what are other fun words? I don't know, a team. Consortium is just a group of people coming together. So I will put those contracts online so that you can see them. I think that might be helpful. Okay, well, we're going to wrap this up. Thank you for your patience, and let us know if you have any questions. We will let you know the minute that you are able to access the data gateway in order to enter in data for the metadata dictionary. Have a great day.